Rav Zuriel says here the obligation of the father to love his children and to educate them. He says, Ha'av chayav lahanmich dato. Lahanmich dato means go down a level. Ulasachek im ha'pautot le'et hatzorech. He has to play with the toddlers, with the little kids, play with kids according to the needs, when the time calls for it. Lamanu zo mimaseh Rabbi Yeshua ben Korcha. Rabbi Yeshua ben Korcha, who they say is actually Rabbi Akiva's son. Hey, Ben Korcha, there's no person's name Korcha, even though it's similar to the name Korach. It means either he himself was bald or son of the bald man, the well-known bald man, which is Rabbi Akiva. Maaseh bechad shaya oset daitaki. Okay, there was one who had basically a will. V'amar lo yehe b'ni yoresh oti me'uma mishali ad sheyaseh shoteh. Okay, I do not want my son inheriting any of my property until he becomes a meshugana. Okay, my son has to basically become a shoteh before he gets to enjoy the inheritance. Lach Rabbi Yossi Bar Yehuda misholat ha'maaseh hazeh Rabbi Yeshua ben Korcha. So Rabbi Yossi Bar Yehuda went to ask Rabbi Yeshua ben Korcha what to do with this. V'otzio michutz. He brought him outside. Sarich lomar. V'ra'u tomi bachutz derech hachalon. He saw him through the window. V'ra'u tomar margia al yadav v'aragav v'gomeh. Okay, natun l'toch piv. He had a stick in his mouth. He was basically on his hands and knees. Okay, he was playing horsey. He had the reins in his mouth. Okay, and his son was pulling him along. He basically was being horsey to his son. By the way, there's stories about Bar-Hayim like this. Rabbi Soloveitchik described his grandfather, Rabbi Elia Pruzhiner, was always formal, basically like a diplomat. He always wore his frock and everything, totally formal guy. And Rav Chaim joked around with children, even let the children tie himself to the tree once, because he was the horsey in the game. So the children tied him to the tree. Okay? So the Kevan Shirau Oto Hitminu Atzmam. Okay, the Chacham saw him like this. They basically hide. They didn't want to see Rabbi Shimon Korcha goofing around with the kids. And they brought him in next to him. Shalu Oto Amasa. They asked him about this ma'aseh. Hitchil misacheg v'amar lahem. He started laughing. He said to them, Chayechem zeh ma'aseh sheshaltem achshav higiyoni. That which you're asking, the shiloh you have about my son won't inherit unless he becomes a shota, that's what I was doing right now. When you're taking care of the kids, you have to get a little bit crazy. You have to goof around with the kids. This is what I inherited my father. Someone saying, really acting crazy with the kids. Sometimes you have to do that, My wife was surprised. She saw especially a big man with the first daughter somehow, or playing with his son, was just a baby. Suddenly it's all goofing around and making diaper jokes, right? You have to do that. You do it sort of for yourself. You have to bring yourself down to be happy with the kids. I was trying to see that there's one guy, there's two grandfathers. One grandfather, the grandkids are all over him, and they share grandchildren. This happened to Uri Zohar, by the way, and his mechutin. Who was his mechutin? Arik Einstein, his good friend. Uri Zohar's sons married Arik Einstein's daughters. Arik Einstein, when he became Meshuggah, he's like, what happened? His friend went off the derech, became this whole Haredi, and his daughters became Haredi, and his whole family, everybody knows, became Haredi, even his ex-wife, and they all with Uri Zohar. They have 17 grandchildren together, and they're all a bunch of frummies, and Arik Einstein's sitting there like, doesn't anybody want to, be Mechal Shabbos with me a little bit? They like the Uri Zohar better. The Uri Zohar grandfather gets all the grandkids want to be Uri Zohar, not Arik Einstein. Why is that? He's more fun. Happened to Rabbi Soloveitchik also. His grandson came to him, wanted to sing Shabbos Miros. Rabbi Soloveitchik didn't sing Shabbos Miros. He was a real Litvak. His Mechudin was a Hasidic Rebbe. So the grandkids liked it. The other Zaidi, he sings Shabbos songs at the table. Why can't you sing, Zaidi? Okay, so that's what he's saying here. He has to be a mishtate. You go down with the kids. Okay? Even Rabbi Shua ben Korcha. Well, yeah, God willing, you should have children. We'll see. That's you have to play around with the kids. Dr. Jordan Peterson, Lahavdil, is one of the things I learned from him. Okay, sometimes I have to get into a fight with my son, even let him win. Okay? Let him wrestle me to the ground. Yeah, do that now. The other kid also. Have you ever seen that? Okay? You have to talk to the kids in their language. Ad kan lashono. Perusha masehu shekadei shehayeled hakatan yochal o kayotze bo. Just to get the kid to eat or to go along with what you're doing. Bath time. How do you get the kids to take a bath, by the way? Let them play with the hose. They'll hose themselves down and get even muddy. And then you'll say, oh, now you have to take a bath. That's a trick I used to do on Erev Shabbos when it's really hot. You tell the kids, Shabbos is coming, get washed, put on your Shabbos clothes. They won't do it. But if you bring out a hose and you're saying, when it was just girls, I said, spritzen der Mädelach. That was the game. That's Yiddish for spray the girls with the hose. Okay? Now it's spritzen der Kinderlach. Spray the kids with the hose. Oh, they get all messy and stuff. Then they want to take a bath. Okay? Get them wet, then they want to take a bath. Okay? So if you want that, hayat sarich, or another thing, what you have to do, you get the kid to eat. You put food on their plate, sometimes they don't want to eat it. You make a game out of it, they'll want to eat it. You want the kid to eat carrot salad, the woman did. She read them the story about Salat Gezer or Eliezer about Gezer, and then all the kids want to eat carrot salad. Or you put all the foods on the table and you tell them, here's your plate. The plate, draw a face with your food. Okay? The spaghetti can be the hair. Right? And you take some pieces of chicken and make that the nose. What? Yes, your table, that's a bracha. Your table should be messy. Isn't the curse? It means you should have kids, because kids make a mess when they eat anyways. The question is, will they eat or will they just make a mess? Right? The mess will happen. So, okay, got to play with him, get him all enjoying himself in this manner. That's also considered tzorech and ma'aseh mitzvah. When he said, I hope, son, you're only going to get to enjoy your inheritance when you go crazy, means you'll have to become a father first, an involved father, a goofy dad, like we say in English. Okay, so this is saying, show it to the kids. People wonder, why do I speak funny language to the children? I call them names and things like that. It's because of this. This is what works. Okay. Muvan me'elav she'ima av bemet ohevet setzav lo rak shokid al to al tama gashmit. He really likes his progeny. He doesn't just care about things that going good, their gashmi aspect. Okay, that should be healthy and they should have clothes, etc. Elo dueg l'tipuchama ruchani. He also cares about their spirit. Kol ava she'eni matocha inena ava. Whatever love doesn't have rebuke also is not true love. Chazal osifu. They also added shekol amonea binomina mardut. Means if he doesn't give him some discipline, some reprimands, sof balidei tarbut ra v'sonehu. Then he might even come to hate his son. Okay, his son will go off the derech. Shekem atzim bishmal she'elo gaguim al Avram aviv lo rido v'yatzel tarbut ra v'sonehu. What? Actually, Chanoch Lenar is usually any age. But once the kid can realize what you're doing, with this whole thing goofing around with the kids, that starts very young. When does it end? I guess by the time they're grandparents. Okay, you're saying, when does the father have to stop being a goof around with his kids? When his own kids are grandparents. What? I would think into his 90s. The most successful grandparents and great-grandparents continue doing this. Even to their kids, because they're still their kids. My father said this to me. Don't treat an adult, say like, he's an adult, you can bring harm to him, etc. That adult man is someone's child. And by the way, apparently also understood this by my father, you never actually see your own children, even if they have gray beards. You don't see them as adults. You see them just as your children. Okay? Rabbi Soloveitchik said something similar to that. Okay? You don't grow out of it. Yeah, it continues. That's just that's what fathers want. So that's what Rabbi Zuriel has to say, or has to write. We should all aspire to be like Rabbi Zuriel.